Hello, everybody. Welcome to Slice of Gaming, a special episode, a meal prep. This is our second ever meal prep, right after our Starfield Direct meal prep, and now we are actually going to be doing a meal prep on Armored Core 6. Very highly anticipated game from Software. I know a lot of people that are very excited for it, a lot of Armored Core fans that are excited for it. And with me today, I'm joined by Moonlight.
Look at me not hosting.
And we're joined by a very special guest, first time appearance, Cyber.
How's it going, everyone?
Cyber, what type of games do you play? A little introduction for the audience.
Yeah, I feel like lately I've been playing a lot of Japanese games, but I play pretty much anything other than FPS games, honestly, and open world like map games. Those bore me to death, but I do like From Software quite a bit, and those Dark Souls games, anything that punishes me. So I kind of enjoy that.
You and me both, brother.
Anything that punishes. Good way to describe that. Also, I like how you said a lot of Armored Core fans looking forward to this. We have none
Yep,
of
I
them
was
here.
about to say. Just off the bat, none of us are big Armored Core fans. Me and Cyber are big FromSoft fans, but Moon's definitely an observer from the outside. Don't take our credibility as like the best in the world. We are definitely just people looking forward to a cool mech game.
It's like, hey, cool mech game, let's go. That's
Yep.
the extent of our knowledge.
And before I get started, we make sure to check us out on all things podcast related. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Pocket Casts, Audible, and a couple others. I mean, do you remember them off the top of your head? I don't have the list right now.
Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket. I think that's
Amazon
about
Music.
it. Amazon Music. There you go. That was another one.
And also follow us on Twitter, Slice of Gaming, or X now. I'm not calling it X. And I keep saying that, and I keep accidentally calling it X. Maybe they convert me. But yeah,
He's gone to you.
I guess just to get us started, what is our overall excitement for this game? Cyber, since you're our guest, how do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty excited. I had heard the name Armored Core before, had seen some videos of people playing before, never actually played it myself. I've been a good fan of mechs for a while, ever since as a kid. But yeah, this game though, just watching a few trailers that I have watched, it just looks so cool. It just looks like a lot of complexity on screen, and even like before you go into battle, and that just sounds like something that I would enjoy. Creating a build and whatnot, but like in mech and sci-fi form, which I'm a sucker for. So I'm pretty excited for it.
That's awesome to hear. Moon, how about you?
I wasn't as interested. I know I've heard of Armored Core before, back when Dark Souls was getting really popular, and the name FromSoft started getting some recognition, and people were just talking about, oh, now FromSoft is on the map again. They have money. Let's bring back Armored Core. So it was like this long running thing of like, when's the next Armored Core? Because they were just diving so deep into Dark Souls, and now they're finally doing another one. But I wasn't too interested until recently because FromSoft, I just never was a FromSoft guy. I never played Dark Souls, Elden Ring, or whatever, because it didn't seem like my games. And then I said, you know what? It's different enough with mechs. Maybe I'll be interested. I just got to watch some gameplay. And that's what happened. Is the gameplay trailer that we're going to go over here pretty soon. It's what got me interested. I'm like, okay, maybe I could get into this. So that's why I'm here to learn more and see if this could be for me.
Hey, that's awesome to hear. And I guess in my regard, I'm on the side of Cyber, where it's like I'm actually not really that big of a mech guy in general, but I do love FromSoft. I'm a huge fan of their games. Elden Ring, one of my all-time favorites. Same with Bloodborne. Any of their games have spoken to me on levels that many other games really struggle to. Like FromSoft games are just the peak of entertainment, in my opinion. And I guess Armored Core was always a series I've kind of watched from afar, always wanting to try them out just to see what they're about. And Armored Core 6 is kind of the perfect introduction for the series, at least from what I've been hearing from a lot of people.
When was Armored Core 5? Because clearly they were before all the Dark Souls games came out.
Armored Core 5, that was like actually after Dark Souls 1, if I remember, in 2012. I can make sure real quick.
Oh, was it?
Core
Armored
5,
Core 5.
release date. Searching it up now.
2012.
Yeah, January 26th.
January of 2012.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot minute since Armored Core.
Yeah, no, genuinely. And that kind of goes to show, like, this is an overall very exciting release like for Armored Core fans and FromSoft fans. Like I don't actually see any FromSoft fans like the Elden Ring Classic Souls fans really upset about this Armored Core game, saying like, "Oh man, why don't you just make another like Souls game, make Elden Ring 2?" It's actually overall a level of excitement that you don't really see from like fans of different series getting into another developer's games because the developer's pedigree is so high. Everyone trusts From
Yeah,
Software.
that is like FromSoft has now gotten to this degree of acclaim that they can make pretty much anything, and their diehard fans are excited for. Like they're not like they reach the levels of we're not excited because we like this franchise like Dark Souls. No, we're excited from the company itself. Like that's how
100%.
you know you've made it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I feel like the last game that had something like that, just to jump in real quick, was Zelda, right? Tears of the Kingdom. And even that one, there's a pretty vocal group of people online that say that they don't like the Breath of the Wild format. So it's been pretty interesting to see the positivity surrounding the marketing for this game. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's gonna sell as well as Elden Ring because of,
No,
No
the
way.
approach, but I think it's gonna be very, very well received.
I mean, we could talk about that real quick. What do you guys expect for like sales numbers of this game? Like, I don't think it hits Elden Ring. Like, Elden Ring is at like 20 million. I think last they were
yeah,
updated.
Elden Ring is a phenomenon in and of itself. So it's
Yeah,
hard. It's done. We should probably like look at like the lowest selling Dark Souls, and then take off a chunk of that.
I
I
see.
agree.
You say that. Moon, can you pull up the list? Actually, do you think you could pull that up? Because
Yeah, I can Google.
I bet you
Oh.
it actually would sell better than like the original Demon Souls on PS3 because that didn't actually sell too well.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that doing that, but just because that was the beginning of the franchise, people weren't attached to it. But now you just have, as we were just talking about, the pedigree of FromSoft, so people are just going to buy it on that alone. Whereas the original Demon's PS3 didn't have that. They like
Hmm.
FromSoft was just like, "Who's that? What is this game?" So I would say like probably just look at like the Dark Souls trilogy and then go by the lowest of that, not by Demon Souls, but like Dark Souls prop. Because
Yeah.
you have to go by the well, no, not Dark Souls remastered, Dark Souls games by sales numbers. See if anything comes up.
My viewpoint is that
For
I think it could sell. I think by the end of the year, I think it's 3 to 5 million around that range.
I agree. I
okay,
think
so let's see.
Yeah, I think I don't know
Uh,
how much Dark Souls. Sorry, I don't know how much Dark Souls 2 sold, but I think that's probably where I would put it, about the same as that one. Just because it's a sequel to a pretty popular game, and this is the sixth game in the franchise, so it definitely has its followers. So I would say 3 to 5 million seems about
yeah,
right.
because you're bringing in the franchise veterans who have been from the older games from over a decade ago, but now you have all these new FromSoft fans giving this a try. So first Dark Souls game sold 2.37 million. Dark Souls 2 sold 2.5 million. Dark Souls 3 sold 10 million. Clearly, that was when the trajectory really started going up. Demon Souls sold 1 million. Demon Souls remake sold 1.4 million. Bloodborne sold 2 million. Sekiro sold 5 million. That's actually kind of crazy
That's
to me.
honestly surprising. The sales aren't nearly as much as I thought. I mean, like
And
these
that,
are a lot of these are estimated sales. I don't think they're full
Yeah,
figures.
are
yeah,
these
nothing,
are these
nothing.
like lifetime sales too, or just an estimate from
No,
when it launched?
this actually seems pretty outdated. Like Sekiro looks like it's the most updated one, or in Dark Souls 3, that's all by 2022.
I know Dark
Uh,
Souls 3 was at least above 10 million. I know about that figure.
Sekiro was 5 million copies by July of 2020. It's now been 3 years since that number. Sekiro's probably sold a lot more since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking on average for like a Dark Souls game, like just a little over 2 million. So I would say 2 million is probably a good guesstimate for this.
Oh, that low? Well, I mean, maybe by
Yeah,
end of the year, probably. Yeah, that's actually a better way to look at it.
here's the other thing we also have to consider. It's at the forefront of an onslaught of a bunch of anticipated games,
That's a great
which is
point.
going to hurt it.
I mean,
That's fair.
I know friend of the show Bob has said that he thinks Armored Core looks cool, but it's too close to Starfield. And honestly, I have that worry too, where it's like I don't know how much Armored Core I'll be able to play until Starfield comes out.
Yeah, if I do dive in Armor Core, it would have to be right when it launches and until Starfield comes out on September 1st, right, for the
Yeah, for
pre-access
the
whatever.
preview. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I think I mentioned this on the weekly podcast, but my plan is to ignore Armored Core for the moment, and then what is it? It's like 12 days later, at least the regular Starfield release date. So I'm fine just waiting those 12 days, watching gameplay, seeing if it's something I could like, and then, like I said on the podcast, give Starfield a try just because it's on Game Pass, and then if I don't click with it, I'm gonna go over and buy Armored Core because I want to play something.
We all want to play
But I have my
something.
backups.
I think that makes too much sense, Moon. You shouldn't do that.
Gamers
Your money.
gamers make it too much sense. He's not a real gamer.
Gamers gotta waste their money. I learned that one the hard way.
Mhm.
I guess we've delayed enough. How about we actually go into these trailers? First up is this gameplay trailer that Bandai Namco released. This was around 3 months ago.
Oh, I didn't even see this one. I just saw the recent one.
Oh, really? Yeah, no. This was they just uploaded this on YouTube.
Peggy 12.
And I'm gonna real quick lower down the volume so that's not too loud. Just ask me if you want me to pause the video if you want to talk about something. We're gonna try to like analyze this, see if we can parse anything out from this gameplay. So this seems to be more of like a story cutscene at the initial start. I do know the big thing is that Rubicon is a new planet, and apparently most Armored Cores take place on Earth. At least a friend of the show was telling me about.
Walter, verified.
Yeah, and they're.
Activating cerebral portal
Are you
control
like
device.
Mm-hmm.
some sort of space pirate or something, or are you like some sort of mercenary trying to?
Yeah, I think it was some kind of like mercenary.
Yeah,
from what
you're
I
like
read.
working with a company from what I've heard. Basically, I did hear some things about like human augmented machines, how you're actually augmented with the mech, so that's pretty interesting.
Mhm.
But I mean, just look at how beautiful this game is. Graphically, there was a bit of controversy on Twitter the other day about like how the game doesn't look good graphically. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. I'll say that right now.
Like it doesn't need to be. It needs to run well with how much is going on screen. Like with this kind of game, I want it to run better than it looks.
100% agree.
Yeah,
Maybe this is the video I saw. This seems really familiar.
They showed a lot of this in the actual extended gameplay that we'll go over in a bit.
Oh, maybe that. So yeah, this is just part of the extended that I watched.
I mean, right there, we kind of see like melee attacks, a la Souls, but then of course you gotta shoot your 1,000 missiles like any other mecha game.
Yeah, I love the little transformations that all the little the robots in the mech that do. Like that just looks so cool. Looks like something that.
100%.
And I know that you're gonna have some sort of combination of buttons or gonna have some cutscene or something where that happens in game, and it's just gonna look pretty cool.
100%, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do recognize this now from. I think I said this on the podcast, or maybe it was before we started the podcast. But this wasn't the trailer I was waiting for because this is not like actual direct gameplay. This is edited cinematic gameplay. There's no HUD or anything.
One thing I do want to point out that I thought was really interesting. This boss, it looks sick. I mean, this giant
Big
earthworm.
worm.
Do you guys think there'll be more animalistic mechs like this, or do you think they want to try to go more towards like industrial type mechs?
Well, I hope they're more animal, like just because that'll make the designs more interesting. Getting into like how the mechs looked in Horizon, like all those ones based on animals were really cool.
I mean, yeah, a saber-toothed tiger mech is what I'm asking for. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I mean that little worm one looks like something that you find in Elden Ring as well, close to the. Like, what are those called? That little portals?
I know what you're talking about. Damn, like I don't remember the name.
Yeah, Crucible? No, it's not Crucible. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Most people will know.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is pretty interesting. Oh, go ahead, man.
I just said not me. I don't know what you're saying.
I mean, just looking at the actual particle effects, it's pretty insane. Just everything on screen right now.
Yeah. This needs that high frame rate. Oh, that boss. Oh, I am not looking forward to this bullet hell.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like this, even if the fidelity of like the models or whatever, you can see polygons kind of a thing. The particle effects that you see on this game and the lighting just look top notch and very, very well executed. So the art direction on this looks great. And yeah, I don't really agree with anyone saying like, oh, this looks like a PS2 game. No, it doesn't.
I have
Or
no
a
idea.
PS3 game.
I mean, it definitely does. take a slight graphical hit because they're also trying to get this thing to run on an Xbox One and PlayStation
I was
4.
just about to mention that. Do you guys think PS4 and Xbox One are like holding this game back from like its true potential?
No, because they went with that in mind. They went in with development saying, okay, we're going to put this game on last gen. So how far can we take these old machines? And then, like, it might run better on the newer machines, but I think they're going to mostly be the same because they probably had that in the design plans pretty much. Like they knew the how far can they take this machine because they've been working with it for Dark Souls for a decade now. So they know what these machines can do and cannot do. So they based it around how far can we put these machines. So I don't think it's holding it back like it's what was it? Midnight Suns had like the
They had to
Xbox
cancel the
series.
Switch
Yeah, the
version.
last gen version because it was made later.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Midnight Suns last gen port was made later. Same with like Hogwarts Legacy. All these last gen games are being made after the fact because they probably were not designed with it in mind. And they're like, oh wait, shit, we need to go make versions of these games to sell more. But here comes FromSoft being the geniuses. You know what? We're going to make it with it in mind day one.
100%. Yeah.
So,
I
so
mean,
it's not holding it back because it was part of the plan.
Yeah, and we also don't know exactly when they started development on this. So when they did start development on this, they could very well be working with the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, right, at a time.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't fully believe on this discourse of like holding things back because these machines or the software that you use today to build games is very scalable
Yeah.
from default. So it's very possible to scale graphical settings. So I think and the core gameplay loop from what we see in Armored Core doesn't seem to be doing anything too crazy when it comes to you know CPU cycles and physics computations and stuff like that. So I think it'll run pretty much okay at a 30 FPS on the PS4 and Xbox One. It may look like garbage, but that's another point.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's running on those consoles. If it can run a steady frame rate, I think PS4 and Xbox One players will be happy with it. And hopefully, we get that 60 FPS mode at launch for PS5 and Series X, and it runs at a steady, clean frame rate and not like FF16 as we were complaining about during our what's it called spoiler cast on that game. But I guess that's everything for that initial trailer. Shinobi over on Twitter, this was about June 5th, 2023, so about a month ago. He put some things here that I found kind of interesting. I wanted to kind of bring them into what you guys think about it. Armored Core 6, not open world because From didn't want it to feel like Elden Ring. Any immediate thoughts on that? I mean, I think this is a massive W.
Yeah, that's probably one of the other things I'd be like, okay, maybe this game could be for me.
Yeah, I like focused games, and I appreciate this game being focused because it means that the design is going to be scoped, right? So you're going to have a mission, and that mission was intricately designed, and it just makes sense, and I appreciate that instead of making me explore for no reason. So yeah.
It's not going to feel forced, I guess. Like, that's the best way to say it, is it? We're not going to feel like it's forcing this idea of like open world for the sake of open world. They are creating the missions designed um, and meticulously designing each one to work the way they want to, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and none of this is like to the detriment of the Elden Ring because Elden Ring is just an open world, it's a special open world,
It was
right? It's not
designed
the
around it.
average. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, it was designed around it. Continue though.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you watch reviews of Elden Ring, people are talking about how even though it is an open world, each section feels like its own little mission, right, or its own little biome, and it's just very well designed. So it's not to the detriment of Elden Ring that Fron chose to do more linear or more sectioned style of development. Um, but yeah, I do appreciate a more scoped experience for now.
Moving on, kind of moving on, or of that point as the first one, mission-based gameplay plus each map is intricately crafted, kind of what we expect from like it not being open world. They're going to make sure each mission is genuinely crafted to work around each character. And then emphasis on customizing / assembling parts so players can create their perfect armored core for various situations. This is the exciting part for people who love messing around with ships and customization. Moon, you're not one of those guys, though, right? I know we've talked about this in the past.
It's very small amount. Like I don't want to spend too much time on stuff like that. So I do like tinkering at least with this, it's weapons and whatnot. So if they have like a training mode, like you can, here's a gun on your left arm. Okay, here's like a quick like battle arena. You can test it out. Like if they do something like that, that could be really cool. I could try out all the options because I'm guessing how we build everything, they'll do something specific, like the way they shoot the gun or what the gun is, like a chain gun or a laser gun or whatever. And then there's like various heads we'll see in one of the other trailers. So it'll be interesting to see like what does each head do for your build. And this also make it fun looking online, like what are other people's builds doing, especially because we kind of skipped over the mission-based gameplay. Like there will be I guarantee you, there's going to be like recommendation lists for each mission. Like
Oh
you look
yeah,
at each mission, everyone will be like, here's my recommended build because of
auto-equip.
this, and this reason. And that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, there's gonna be like an auto-equip tab for people who don't really want to mess around with it. It's like, okay, just tell me what to play.
That's me.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
and-
that's. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, something else that I find it's really interesting about this emphasis on customization is that when asked about difficulty, right? I remember reading it somewhere. So like, do you think that because people have been begging for a easy option on FromSoft games for a while now, and they said that they have created a game where they feel confident that people will be able to customize it to their own liking, in the sense of like if you want to make an easy mode, you should be able to with its customization parts before any mission. So
Yes.
That sounds exciting for you. I know you're not the biggest difficulty guy in the world.
Easy mode. Easy mode.
yeah, so you're gonna have a journalist gun, that just one shots everyone, kind of a thing.
It's me. I'm journalist.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the details Shinobi brought. But now it's the big trailer, the gameplay preview. They released this like a week ago, from what I remember. I'm gonna skip ahead to around.
Yeah, skip all the CGI.
Yeah, so like right here.
Skip all the like story cutscenes.
I watched a bit of this, and most of it. It is incredible.
Yeah, so this is what I was waiting for. No, it finally got me excited for the game was watching this.
I mean,
just straight up gameplay.
Just look at this alone. I mean, the multi-layered level design, as they point out here, like it seems like this is a game that wants to more vertically design its levels versus like how a lot of games are much more horizontally designed. They want to try to make it like you're escalating or de-escalating, and I think that's interesting just by itself.
No, Wolf, this game is being held back.
You're right. Yeah, no, that's what Twitter people say. I trust them. But yeah, no, I mean, genuinely, just the actual visuals of the game are incredible.
Capabilities.
So there's a bit more CG here. I'm gonna actually skip ahead to when the gameplay comes back, just kind of showing like how you get into the situation. But I mean, right here, an interesting thing I wanted to actually point out. I'm gonna skip back. Apologize for any buffering. Right there, it says unaware. Do you guys think stealth is going to be a major part of this game?
I think it will to an extent because, like, I don't know how to describe this, but there'll be like a way to maybe sneak by and then do like certain setups. Like what you're doing here, like locking on all the rockets instead of having to actively like dodge enemy attacks.
Yeah.
I think it's just more along the lines of getting people to recognize, am I being targeted right now? I think that's just really what it's for.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout.
And I think it's all. Do you think we can make a ninja build just with a sword and I can go for stealth attacks, or do you think that's like a bit much?
Someone's gonna try it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because like I feel like you can be stealthy up until you fire, a massive shotgun or machine gun from your wrist. So
yeah,
if you can do a stealth build like with a sword, like you're saying, I think that would make more sense.
What they're gonna do is they're gonna pull a fucking Batman, and you're gonna lay out traps everywhere, then alert everybody, and then it just all blows up in their face, like set off every trap.
I love it.
Sounds fun to me.
And also, I want to point out repairs. They kind of mentioned this, the repair kit. It seems to be kind of like the Estus flask of this game. You get a limited amount of them per area. So you can see that there's definitely some inspiration they took from like their time making the Souls games. They wanted to make sure they learned a lot from those games, take those lessons into this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good game design, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's close, so.
The best in the business. We kind of see here just the actual gameplay. seems pretty a lot faster than I thought it would be. I thought it would be more slow and meticulous.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like up to leading to seeing this video from our Armored Core fans is that thought it was a lot more slower, methodical kind of game.
A lot of people were kind of complaining about that, actually, like Armored Core fans. It's a small subset of the community.
Yes, but this seems pretty fast. Like we're reaching, like especially during the boss fights, we're reaching like Returnal levels of bullet hell.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that soon.
Yeah, I'm also thinking like that might be part of the customization thing, right? Because you might, I mean, I'm sure you have some sort of armor or some sort of weapons that add more weight, so you may add more weight to your mech overall.
Yeah.
So maybe
be a massive tank.
Yeah, so maybe to be
That's
like
me.
more action heavy trailer, I think they chose a more nimble build kind of a thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but just like one thing, sorry, that I want to point out on that section that we just watched.
Yeah.
Is how your mech's flying around as it's shooting the enemies, and it just destroys the living hell out of these trees.
Yeah.
And I appreciate destructible environments always, and that just looks pretty cool right now. And you see like the broken trees on the background there.
I mean, do you think that'll extend to the buildings and whatnot when we get into the more urban environments?
I think parts of it, right? I don't think you're gonna be able to destroy the entire structure, but
yeah, we're not doing Battlefield level of destruction of buildings, but I'm sure there'll be some.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but again, similar to how Dark Souls and Elden Ring work, right, where you have these boxes or crates everywhere and you can break in. But in battle, like when you're breaking stuff while you're rolling around, kind of a thing, it just feels really good. So I appreciate that.
One thing I also wanted to point out, very much waypoints. That is not very much a thing in Souls games, so seeing them in this game is pretty interesting.
I was just about to point those out, like, thank God for those.
Yeah, no, I would have lost my mind. I am not here to wander around this giant mech city. I mean, hey, that's the thing, though. Like, you can wander around Mech City if you really desire, which that choice of gameplay desire is really sick. And then, of course, you get the fire. The fire looks beautiful. I'll say that right there.
Yeah, just the fire from your jetpack there. It looks pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, we see right there. I wanted to point out. But, like, it seems to be more 360 degree of movement, which, honestly, I wasn't expecting. I thought it would be kind of more two-dimensional, but, like, you seem to go up, down, sideways, anything with these boosters.
Navigate the environment. Use boost to take the fight to the air, extending combat dimensions beyond the two.
So we mostly see that we're fighting like actual like other Armored Core units as we see here, but now we're kind of seeing like little security drone type things. Do you guys think the enemy variety will be interesting, or do you think most of it will be like the bosses that are kind of the big spectacle?
Yeah, that's what FromSoft is now known for. Like that's what you remember about Dark Souls is all the bosses and Elden Ring. Like people are making tier lists of these bosses. Like you're not seeing people talk about the random skeletons that you beat up throughout the levels before you get to the boss. So I think that's going to carry over here, where it's just going to be a lot of generic mechs and 3D drones and of the sorts, but then you get to the bosses, and that's where all the creativity is.
Agreed.
Yeah, but also like just to play devil's advocate there. Another big thing about Souls game and when you're playing it is that you can pick certain weapons, right, from granted bosses at a game, and then you can do certain types of attacks that the bosses could do, or types of attacks that the enemies could do. You see a lot more of that on Elden Ring. So I'm wondering if the customization parts that you're gonna have for your mech are gonna be present in enemy mechs as well, in like random enemies, and that's how they scale difficulty throughout the game. I think that could be pretty cool as well.
I'm sure they would, because like, why would they go through all the trouble of making all these different guns and attachments and all that if the enemies won't have them too? It's like you're the only overpowered being in the universe that has these great weapons, and everyone else has like a standard pistol. So I'm sure they're reused in some places.
I bet you the end game mechs are gonna be like just like it's gonna be a thing in a lot of Souls games. The normal enemies become like bosses, or no, other way around. The bosses become normal enemies. I think it's gonna be the case here, where you're gonna see those giant sandworms that we saw like that in that last trailer. That's just gonna be like a common enemy at one point in the game. And that's kind of the stuff I want. Like I remember when I got to what was it? It was Izalith in Dark Souls 1, and there was like 7 Taurus demons in one area, and that was like one of the first bosses. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, the melee combat also, like, it looks very simple, but, like, fun, I guess, to say
Yeah, that
at least.
I was about to say that is like my one complaint so far is that it seems to be the loop seems to be fire, 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 weaken them, go in for a punch, run away.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
I'm hoping like with the variety of weapons and whatnot, that's not like your only way of just fighting.
Yeah, I was about to say, because, like, you can customize it in so many ways. I bet you there's, like, more builds
Use
than just
vertical
this one.
catapults to gain even more altitude and launch into the action from above.
So he says something interesting there about altitude. Do you guys think it will be like you have a set altitude for like most of the level, but like you can use those
Yeah.
jump pads to kind of get higher?
Yeah, there's going to be like an invisible sky ceiling, so you don't like to where he just went right now. You wouldn't be able to access that normally without using the jump pad. That's how they're going to like section it off.
Agreed.
Probably
Yeah.
for like loading and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if you technically could make it all the way up there, like if you wanted to, but your mech has limited boost capabilities. So
I
like
can
you
see
wouldn't
that.
be able to boost all the way up unless you have like a little, trampoline kind of a thing or catapult, right, as you call it.
Yeah, that could be something like that. That'd be interesting. Maybe it could be
You
like a
might be able to
built-in
do it.
ability later on.
Yeah, I was say you could probably make a build that's like super lightweight and has like extra boosters or whatever. But then you're probably not very assault heavy, so you're gonna fly up there and immediately just get wasted.
Yeah. Which is again, that build variety is exciting, and we're gonna get into the actual build screen later on.
Also, I just want to say, like, as we launch up there, justice reigns from above.
Oh, right here we get the actual boss fight, and my god, this looks like so much fun, just from a spectacle standpoint.
Yeah, that reminds me of like Metal Gear 5 kind of a thing. where you
Like
find,
so,
these-
Against tough
the big final boss in that
deal
game.
impact damage to the
Yeah.
altitude control
and
system.
this is just one boss, and I had a ton of fun doing that on that game. So
If anything, this looks more like a mini boss, which gets me even more excited.
This is
Mhm.
called stagger.
And that top bar
Yeah, we
has...
do have-
Go ahead.
Fucking, I was just gonna say, every video game now has boss fights with stagger.
Yeah, I was about to say, so the stagger meter, that seems to be kind of the big deal with this game's combat. Do you guys think that loop sounds exciting, like kind of stagger, kill an enemy? And I know, Moon, you had a lot of like issues with like Final Fantasy 16, for instance, that stagger meter and how that worked. Do you think you'll have the same issues with Armored Core?
It really depends on how they implement it. Like, if it's the exact same kind of way of staggering someone, and yeah, you're fighting different bosses who have different fight loops and all that. But if your fight loop is just shoot, 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 stab, stab until their stagger breaks, then you go in for a massive amount of damage, and then you just go right back to the loop of shoot, 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 stab, stab until they stagger again, then yeah, it's going to be a little problematic. At least on our end. Like, it'll be cool dodging all these different bosses' attacks, but if our attack pattern is the exact same, where's the fun in that?
Yeah, so like the
Yeah.
big thing is how your actual attack pattern varies in comparison to every other enemy. Like that's kind of like the stagger meter at its best is utilize your character and feeling like you're doing something different and adapting to the boss fight differently.
yeah, I'm also wondering if the stagger would be something similar to how it works in Sekiro, right?
I was about to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, where like you have your own stagger, but also the enemy, and the stagger isn't like just a time, like Moon was saying, that you jump in there and then do a ton of damage by just pressing square or whatever. But like you can do some sort of special hit or something like that, like you could in Sekiro.
Yeah, like you break the stagger meter and then you're able to kind of come in and like do like a special attack to remove one of their health bars in Sekiro. And it seems like this is more kind of akin to like Final Fantasy 16, where you get the stagger and then it's just rain as many bullets as you can while they're staggered. Which, I mean, I think it would work as a system. I'm excited to see it when I'm like hands-on with the game.
Yeah, but no QTs, please.
Oh, please no. I mean, like, I think a QTE could work in like a cutscene, but like, it needs to feel intense enough. Like, I personally can deal with QTEs, but I understand like the hatred for them.
The problem with the QTs in Final Fantasy 16 for me is that they were so long.
Yeah, I was
Like
about to say that was like the
yeah, they-
worst type of QTE.
They pause the entire thing and they show the control, like the button they should press right in the middle of your screen, and that thing lasts for like 3 seconds. And I'm like, come on.
Like
Just
at that
kill
point,
the
just don't have
flow.
it in the game because
Yeah, exactly.
it's just this epic fight and then just dun press square. It's like, oh man, it's like I'm really there.
It's like, wow, thanks.
This is called stagger.
So moving on, we got the big stuff. Immediately, this seems to be the garage. judging by the fact that it's called the Garage. Thank you, Captain Obvious Me. uh, I mean, I guess like just looking at the screen, like, do you guys have anything you want to point out specifically that you find interesting?
No, where's my auto button? Where is it?
I mean, I'll say this: the arena, that definitely seems like the actual multiplayer. I mean, they say right here, arena rank F. Whoever this guy
Yeah,
is apparently sucks.
yeah, there was a talk of like a multiplayer aspect where you can go and fight there, and you get like permanent upgrades and weapons for your mech for the single player.
hmm Yeah, no, that
I don't
sounds.
know how much I don't know how much I'm going to spend there though.
Well, I mean, you could just
Probably not a lot.
play with me, and then I'll go AFK and let you grind out mech parts. There you go.
Hooray!
And it seems like Coum is your currency. That is such a bad currency name. I'm sorry. Coum?
Comb.
Just say credits, man. Every other game says credits. OST chips. Do you guys have any thoughts of like what that could mean?
Is that for OS
Probably
tuning?
OST what? Oh, OS tuning. Yeah, now I see that.
Yeah, so it's probably like internal stuff,
Like health.
to health, maybe reload times and other stuff like that. Cooldowns for your specials.
And then the AC design and parts shop is like the more external stuff, like what missiles you have, like what does your armored core look like, all that type of stuff. I guess, and also real quick, emblem and pilot name, mercenary license. It seems like there's a lot of like customization in terms of like the multiplayer. It feels like they want to do a lot there.
Yeah, I think this screen looks kind of like Halo Infinite's multiplayer screen. That's what it reminds me of, and I think that's a good thing because I like the menu design on that game.
Yeah, it's very clean, simple, understandable. Not like Modern Warfare 2, like the new Modern Warfare 2, whatever the hell those menus are.
Or Persona games where like
Okay,
they
let's
look
calm
really
down.
cool, but at first, man, I can't read a thing on those menus.
Moon,
But we have to learn them.
get his ass.
I'm gonna get his ass.
No, that's fair. That's understandable. I guess moving on, we want to actually get to the customization part. Moon, how do you feel about this?
I'm just getting flashbacks to Custom Robo on the GameCube. It's the menu. This kind of menu is very similar to that. Granted, it's a lot more dumbed down and it's simplistic for like a kids game, but seems like just the adult version of that. Which, hey, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Give me the gun. Give me what it does. Please have there be a button of let me try it out in like a virtual arena.
Yeah.
Can't see it because of the video.
So there's install, back, play video. I bet play video you can at least like see it in action.
At least watch like a computer use it at least. So yeah, that'll be helpful.
And I bet there's like kind of like a semi like arena like training mode where you can like come in and with your mech and do stuff with it.
Yeah, that's what Custom Robo had. Was you got down to at the very end of your build, there was like a practice arena version, so you could go into like a practice round with your build and see, and then you can, if you didn't like it or you didn't like something about it, you go right back to the menu and adjust to what you wanted. So hopefully this has like the same feature.
Yeah, I guess like just looking at the guns, I mean, it's hard to really tell because these aren't like conventional weapons. These are very much mechas. So I guess like looking at it, like I assume this one's like a sniper. This is kind of like
some kind of like one round, like one big round kind of. One big shot kind of gun.
Yeah, and then like a rail gun type deal, maybe.
The top one looks more like your standard like battle rifle from Halo. Yeah. That's probably like a 3-round burst gun.
I bet you. And I'm at right here, part specs. Like you were talking about how like this simplicity of Custom Robo, and honestly, this is pretty simple in and of itself. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna be sitting on the stat screen for like forever. It looks like it's like, okay, what's attack power? This number is bigger. Cool, I'll go with it. Moving on. Okay, so this is
there's the chain gun.
This is the burst machine gun. The chain gun. I see what you mean. Yeah,
the chain gun was my go-to in Custom Robo, so I'll probably be using it here too.
I mean, just look
at those total rounds, though.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, look at the clip on the actual mech itself. That clip that goes on forever.
It just.
It looks like it slows. Looks like it slows you down.
weight,
Yeah.
endurance
It
lead.
like doubles your weight.
Yeah, and then boost speed goes down. Interesting.
Yeah, see, so I'm pretty sure that machine, where this mecha, right, would not move as fast as the one that we saw in the trailer earlier.
No, that guy was packing light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my tank build with
This
this chain
this
gun.
this is my baby.
Oh,
My
oh, that's
shotgun.
a shotgun.
Yeah, this is what I'm going in with, boys. I'm gonna be
Look
running
at
in
that!
with shotguns.
Look at that attack power. No, look at the attack power. The gun that we were on previously, like at the beginning of this clip, has like an attack power of 32. It goes up to 36.
Yeah, 500 damage. I mean, it's a shotgun, so like you're gonna have to be getting in close.
You're one-shotting it.
But
I like
that
how
is
your boost
that's my
speed
playstyle.
here goes down by 1. It went down by 1 in your boost speed.
Yeah, I'm interested in. I bet boost speed like it doesn't get affected by much. Like it looks like it doesn't get affected by much, but like 1 down for boost speed is probably like maybe more detrimental than we're like assuming. It kind of depends. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know much about Armored Core and how its systems work for that, so I can't answer the question. I wish I could,
that's
though.
interesting. Oh, that's understandable. I mean, yeah, I bet it boost speed. It doesn't get affected by much. Like I bet like the slowest boosting mech and the fastest boosting mech. I don't think there would be that much difference where it's like you're playing a different game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. You say that, but then if you go back to Dark Souls and Elden Ring and how weight affects your mobility on those games significantly, then I don't know. That's
Well,
the
I mean,
thing.
no one's playing like when you're overweight in Dark Souls, like you're gonna take off that weight. No one's playing with like slow roll. Did you
I've
play with
seen it.
slow roll?
No,
Oh, okay. I
you
was
know
about to
what?
say.
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you. The first Dark Souls game that I played was Dark Souls 2, and I had no idea
you're
how to do
bored.
anything on that game. So I was slow rolling
Oh no.
for a while, for like 30 hours, and I'm not even kidding.
I
Until I
can't
visited
blame
a
you.
friend. Yeah, until I visited a friend, and he's like, "You're doing it wrong." But
that's what happens. You visit
yeah,
a friend
but
and they're
I'm
like,
not.
"Oh, sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead."
but I wasn't the only person that did that though. So that's what I'm saying. Like, some people will take the fatty, man.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I'm just saying like I don't think it would be like so very much like playing a different game. Like I'm talking more about like you're going from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3 and like how different those games felt. I don't think it would be a situation where going with the slowest mech and going with the fastest mech would affect your boost speed by that much. But who knows? Maybe it could. Like they very much love their options.
Yeah.
Moving on.
We don't get to see the railgun.
Yeah,
the railgun was next on the list.
So this is left arm unit. I think this is going to be more explosive stuff, missiles and whatnot.
Missiles, maybe like a punching weapon of some kind, of melee weapon of some kind. Looks like some
like
of them might.
Yeah, no, I think
first the one on the top one almost looks like a harpoon. Imagine having like a Sekiro rope thing on a mech.
That'd be so fucking cool.
That'd be sweet. You gotta have a drill one, like drill dozer action.
There you go. Chainsaw.
There you go.
If you want to be Chainsaw Man, there you go. I mean, this sounds like very much like the melee weapons as Moon was explaining earlier. And this is a stun baton.
Oh, stun baton. Interesting.
A laser dagger.
We're getting into the sci-fi shit that I like. Ooh, laser dagger.
And now we're getting into the back units. Okay, so these are actual missiles. Okay, so I think it's more so like right arm is like your assault weapons, and then these are like kind of your what's it called, melee weapons.
Melee weapons.
And then you go to the back, and these are your missiles. So you got like.
What was the first thing on the melee weapons?
Yeah, we can go back. Explosive launcher.
Explosive.
Interesting.
Oh, we noob tubing out here.
No. Anything but that.
Okay, they're all bots.
And then these are missiles. I don't know if there's much to say. It's just like this one's a homing missile launcher. That's what I'm.
Yes, always go with the homing missiles. I'm not going to be able to aim for shit in this game.
A needle missile launcher. So I guess like a bunch of like tiny needles and as missiles.
That tear through armor. So probably I wonder if certain ones, if it has like armor piercing, it staggers more quickly.
There was one thing.
Stagger.
There was one thing I found interesting for the needle. Hang on, right here. if 146 times 6 to 415 times 2. That's just a pretty
Also,
funny number to look at.
Well, you thought it was a bunch of like small needles going at, but that means it's 2 big attacks because that was the weapon it was on.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so 146. No, there's 124 of 4 of them.
486.
So yeah, it's doing 415 damage for 2 attacks.
Interesting.
So these are giant ass needles.
Yeah,
So
fire
as you see, it's
steak-shaped
2
projectiles.
stakes all over slaughtering vampires. Cool.
Parts of your AC.
And then left back unit, a pulse buckler. I wonder what these mean.
Developed has high
Oh, maybe
setup,
shields.
but only deploy. Yeah, deployables.
Yeah, however.
Features are relatively long. Shields and other things you could probably deploy out.
If we look at the specs, damage mitigation, impact dampening, yeah.
Including weapons.
Anything else besides shields?
Laser
Oh, look,
cannon.
we get laser cannons. So if you don't want to go on the defensive and just want to go all out, here's a laser cannon.
Hey, that's me. This is for me. I want the laser cannon.
Frame parts such as
And then head. I guess this is more
Fine,
so
dry.
the head and core.
how you want to look.
Originally,
it does affect stuff.
no, it does do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the descriptions. It kind of gives you a small makes up for combat performance shortcomings with its sturdiness. So, yeah, right there on the side it says defensive performance. This one raises your defense.
So that's your defense one. This is your also defense one.
Lightweight.
Yeah, lightweight. So
Lightweight, so you move a little.
Yeah,
And
looks like it
determine-
also stabilizes your attitude.
your attitude. Ooh.
Yeah, not altitude, just attitude.
I bet that's supposed to say altitude.
We'll see.
It says it.
Did we
so
we find a typo in the armor core?
Parts for power management.
Game's ruined.
There's body
Your
pieces.
core. Originally spec for
Okay.
extra vehicular activity in space. Lacks in combat with lightweight. Yeah, so stuff like that. So very much like deciding if you want to go with like a heavyweight or a lightweight armored core. Yeah, because this
I'm
one's
gonna go with
much
as lightweight as I can with a just heavy ass machine gun, chain gun.
Whoa, look at this guy. I don't know why this one looks funny to me. And then there's arms. I mean, just look at the
Like
amount of customization options.
Like shoulder pads of some kind.
yeah,
There's
cool
so
arm.
much that you can change
Assembling
that I
a
feel like you won't be
Lightweight.
finding two
See, defend-
like mechs.
Your own
You're not gonna
custom
find, like,
motion.
two
Well,
of
as
the
we're
same
seeing
measure.
here, as we've kind of been saying, like they all seem to they fall in the categories of like this is more lightweight, this does more damage, this is more defensive. So like yeah, we're having a lot of parts, but they all, when you boil them down, they all just kind of fall into certain categories of what they do.
yeah. I feel like a lot of them are also just like for looks as well. Almost like you're going for a lightweight armored core, but like how do you want this lightweight armored core to look? Something like that.
It's crucial to success.
I don't know why this one's so funny to me. These fat ass legs. They remind me of Metal
Chicken
Gear
legs.
Rex.
Yeah, it is called spring chicken, so
Oh yeah, that's probably why.
Look at the spider legs below that. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
there
you can
go.
just have tank treads.
Interesting. Okay, so oh my god. This is mine. I already decided.
and they mentioned it. They mentioned that you can customize your mech depending on the mission and the terrain and how you want to traverse the terrain. So I think that's what they're talking about. If
So
you
like
want to be more
deserts,
grounded,
you want these.
Yeah, so if you're like in a wide open field, you want something like this just to get around and be defensive, because this would not work in a place where you have to do a lot of flying. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
guessing like if you have these giant ass tire treads, like you're not gonna be flying a lot in that one. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
Hey, look at the
Look at
weight. It's like 4 times the weight.
Yeah, and look at the AP and the load limit too.
Yeah, no, this is definitely like if you want to go for a specific desert mission, you run this thing. But like, that last mission we saw, I wouldn't run this thing. That seems like it would be a
No.
much more difficult run. Real quick, there was one more that they
It's
didn't
crucial to
show.
success.
Right there, they never showed what that is. I'm assuming that's thrusters, from what I can see.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So I wonder, maybe they're hiding it for now, or they just didn't think it was as important to look at. But
It's like, yeah, you boost for longer, you boost for shorter, you boost for whatever.
so this is more like kind of the mission briefing. We don't really need to go over this, I don't think. I guess just kind of showing us how each mission would start.
Main system activating combat mode.
But I mean, again, just look at how
Transition is
beautiful this
really
game is. Oh, I think. Okay, we're all good.
Here, we're up against an enormous weapon.
Yeah, you cut out there for a little bit, Cyber. I don't know what you said.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're all good.
I was just
Video?
saying that the transition into the mission is pretty cool.
Okay, I'm just making sure the recording's still going.
Okay.
Now, see, this one you might want the tanky.
I mean, yeah, like, you're not doing as much flying. Like, I got like that's what tanks. Feet could stop buffering. I am so sorry about that. But desert environments are definitely where you want something like a tank, you know, something like this area.
Yeah, just something to say about this, the art design on this level too. I love that your invisibility is so low, because you're literally in the middle of a sandstorm, and I appreciate
Exactly.
that. You know, it looks like it.
And this is gonna be like our big boss fight. I mean, just look at this thing. I guess if you guys played Shadow of the Colossus, kind of like destroying all the other parts of the, like, breaking the other weak points to eventually get to the head, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I love Shadow of the Colossus, so
Oh,
yep,
same.
I agree. Looks like a lot of fun. Also, this reminds me of Nier Automata, right? There are some sections
Yeah.
of the game.
Some near vibes here.
I mean, yeah, just like
Do this
mecha.
tiny little thing, you're taking out this gigantic mech.
And I guess it's fair to mention, we don't think the story's gonna be anything too mind-blowing, right? Like, it's gonna be very much just a
No.
classic mecha story.
I mean, you're a hitman hired to do stuff.
Yeah.
Look, there's
do-
even
Here
allies.
goes boom boom.
Yeah, allies. I do love the kind of like conversations you hear and shit.
Some missions
Very
seem
interesting
parted up with
dialogue in
like
general.
these.
Yeah, let's definitely like a lot more casual
Yeah.
than Dark Souls.
Yeah, Dark Souls, everyone's just crying and dying. Here, they're just like, oh
And,
yeah,
and, you know,
just do shit.
those weird laughs.
Another day at work.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say, like, I love the casual dialogue. Very cheesy dialogue. I don't know, have you guys ever heard of Metal Wolf Chaos?
Oh, I've heard of it. I
Wait,
don't
that
remember what
name
it
sounds
is.
familiar, actually.
Old school From Software game. I highly recommend just going on YouTube, looking up all the cutscenes. You play as the President of the United States, and you have to get in a mech and fight the Vice President. And it is
Oh,
genuinely...
I think I do. That does sound familiar.
It is one of the funniest games of all time. The voice acting is horrible. There's like zero seriousness, but genuinely, it is a game that you play just to get a good laugh. I highly recommend just watching it.
And this was From Software making it, you said?
This was FromSoft, yeah. So
That's hilarious.
it's kind of interesting. It almost like slightly going back to that in a way.
What platform was that on?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Yeah, original Xbox, and then it came back onto PlayStation 4 recently.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that on PlayStation 4? Ooh.
Yeah, I own a copy
It's
of
also
it.
on. It's also on Steam as well.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
and I mean, just
Yeah, I might actually give it a shot.
Oh, it says Xbox One as well, so it is probably like
Your
backwards
mission
compatible on
objectives
Xbox
will
One.
range from protecting
and I just love the
targets and
nighttime
information
environments, the
gathered
rain,
to the
like
annihilation
just
of
this.
enemy forces.
The environmental design of this game is absolutely stunning. This is kind of what From Software pros at, is, you know, making their environments look good.
Yeah, and this makes me feel like the lighting systems that they are using here look like Elden Ring, where
yeah.
the fog is there, and like I know, because like Elden Ring looked really good, and this looks very similar to that. And
Yeah, and
I do love me some Elden Ring.
I think one of the big things that you can actually criticize before we get into this boss fight, one thing you can semi-criticize about From Software is like graphical is like character models. But Armored Core doesn't have that issue because you're not seeing humans out of their mech, I assume, like very much. So, I mean, hey,
Yep.
shout outs to them for that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we see one human in this whole thing. I don't. I mean,
genuinely am.
again, I don't know anything about Armored
I'm sure
Core,
we'll see
but-
like. I'm sure we'll see like our character in like just a couple early cutscenes. Like
Yeah.
here's your hitman, and yeah, he's just your standard hitman. It's probably a shaved head white guy, like everyone else.
John Halo.
Done.
John Halo.
little bit of staggering on my end. Again, I apologize.
Yeah.
But Moon, you were talking about how this was kind of the part of the trailer that semi scared you a bit, like showing you it's a bit more intense.
How fast, yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a From Software boss fight, classic duel type deal. I'm very much into it. I love these type of things. But yeah, it very much does look like a bullet hell.
I mean, just look at that. That just looks so cool, though.
It does. Like, I think we can all tell. Like, me and Cyber are 100% like in for this game.
Yeah, it's like watching this again. I'm like, oh man, am I actually gonna get this? Not follow through with my plan? Like, am I just gonna play this over Starfield?
It depends.
Just look at all that lightning.
Look at this fucking. This is the
This
fuck
is
I'm thinking
so
about.
cool. This is so cool.
Yeah, the
This
beginning
thing's gonna
where-
haunt me in my nightmares.
The
But
beginning
again-
where I shot all those missiles, it kind of looks like Kingdom Hearts 2. If you
Ah,
remember
that's like,
the end.
yep.
Yep.
The fight with Zemnis, yep.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it haunts me.
I do.
So
Do you guys
cool.
do you guys think there might be issues when it comes to like epileptic viewers? Because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Maybe.
I assume there's going to be some type of mode that helps people like that. At least I would hope so.
And I'm sure that's like become a thing now with the industry. Like, I'm sure they had to be aware of that at the beginning.
Yeah, not like Cyberpunk at launch where it had an epileptic part of the game and they just didn't tell anyone. That was fun. So they kind of go more into like semi gameplay stuff. I do want to real quick thoughts on this bad boy.
Oh, I didn't even see this. Oh god.
I can't buy this just for the fact that I don't have space. But if I did,
Yeah,
goddamn.
Jeez.
I have never bought a collector's edition for a game, but when I saw this, I was like, man,
What if,
that-
man?
that looks so
I
cool.
wonder how big this actually is.
Up 32
I wish they like
centimeters.
put it next to some. Okay, that's actually pretty
It's like
big.
a ruler. If you have like a regular ruler, like a school ruler, it's about that big, maybe a little taller
Yeah.
than that.
I'm enjoying
But yeah,
it.
just
Half
look at the
centimeters
detail
or-
on that statue, man. It just looks so cool.
It looks like they put a lot of work and effort into this collector's edition, which is what I want out of a collector's edition, is make me feel like the purchase is worthwhile instead of just like a
Yeah.
cool gimmicky statue that I don't really care about.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but I've really hated like what the industry standard now of a special edition. It seems to be the CD and an art book and a steel book, and that's just about
Without
it.
the disc.
without the disc. But at least here we're actually getting statues, we're getting pins, we're getting fucking stickers.
Stickers. Interesting thing also. Oh, go ahead, Cyber. Did you have something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but also it costs $500, and I do not have.
Is it?
$500
Yeah.
for this.
never mind.
Yeah, see that. I thought it was like 200 or 300, kind of like.
Well,
Yeah,
I
if it was
think-
like
I
200 or
think-
300, I might have considered it.
I think you can get the mech without the garage for 200 or 300.
Oh, that's more worth it. I mean, maybe
That
that's-
could be
yeah,
better.
right here. Yeah, collector's
Yeah,
edition.
Oh, okay. At least look at the stickers.
Yeah, interesting thing I wanted to point out. We didn't talk about it much. Digital soundtrack. What do you think the soundtrack's going to be like anywhere near as good as like the FromSoft games, like Elden Ring and whatnot? Like it seems like they want to go for a more techno, like industrial music style. Are you guys into
You
it?
know, I'm down for that because from what we heard in the trailers, it still has somewhat of the epicness, right, that you hear in Elden Ring and Dark Souls. But if you put like a techno twist on it, like I really appreciate that. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
More operatic? Do you think they still continue with a lot of their choirs and whatnot?
For bosses, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope so. Yeah.
Can you go back to the other version? I want to see something. The
I'm
other
sorry?
version of the collector's edition,
Oh,
the
the
premium.
first one. Yeah, real quick.
Okay, so it's the same pin. I was wondering, like, I thought the premium version had like more pin badges. No, it's the same 4 in the other version too.
Yeah,
So
very
literally
much
it's the
you're going
exact
for that
same thing,
garage.
just minus the garage, which
You don't
Granted,
need
looking
the
at the-
garage.
the garage complements it though. Like it gives it like this whole scene.
I know. It just feels like out of place. Like you just have a shelf and then there's just this giant ass garage there. It feels a little out of place versus.
I
Just a
don't know.
little
I
bit.
think it
Just the
looks
mech.
really cool. I think
It
without
does
the
look cool,
garage, it
especially
looks...
if you can put it like on like not the top shelf, but like one of the middle shelves and like in the corner. So it looks like this little robo corner of yours of a
Yep.
garage.
And you see in the front of the garage, there's like 2 spotlights. I don't know if those are LED enabled
If
already.
those turn on, holy shit.
Yeah, but like you know that if they aren't, there are some people out
Someone's
there
gonna
that are
make
They're
gonna
gonna
put
mod it,
an
yeah.
LED there. Yep.
Yeah, mecha
Good
fans are
God, that sounds
very
hot.
hype. Ah, damn. I feel like if I just got for the collector's edition, I wouldn't be too upset though, because like the mech by
Yeah.
itself is still awesome.
Mech is nice.
Yep.
It
It's
just kind
not,
of feels, after seeing the garage version, it just feels kind of naked with
this
just the
is-
mech standing there by itself. And what is this launch edition?
yeah. I guess this is just like if you buy the game at launch. I mean, hey, a poster. I'm a big poster guy.
Oh.
That might be what I go for.
You think pre-orders include that?
Oh, most likely, yeah.
I'm most likely because launch editions usually are like the pre-order version, or if you
Yeah.
buy it, say day one, if you can just find like a loose copy that's not held down by anyone.
Yeah, I
Or-
might get
Launch
that,
edition's
actually.
pretty nice. I mean, you still get stickers.
It's in a like box too. Kind of
Yeah, it's a
kind of
nice,
similar.
it's a nice, pretty box.
Yeah.
It's similar
And
to
the
how
cards.
Cyberpunk's one.
Kind of. Oh, great. So that means I won't be able to put it on my shelf. Damn it.
Well, no,
I
Cyber-
fucking have Cyberpunk sitting on. I have Cyberpunk and Yakuza Like a Dragon sitting on a separate shelf because the boxes don't fit on my rack.
Ah, man, that's always failing.
But it looks like the regular game case just slips inside the box, so I could just toss the
Yeah.
box or whatever and keep the
Toss
regular.
the box. Oh my
Okay,
god.
I'll put it off to the
Moon.
side.
Well, it is
No,
a
I
slip
still have-
cover. If it's a slip cover, then yeah, toss it in the trash. Who cares
No,
about
whoa,
those?
whoa, whoa, whoa! What is, guys? You gotta be like a real gamer and hoard it.
No, that's called a weirdo, actually.
Oh well,
And,
I get resident weirdo then.
A real gamer
Yeah,
doesn't even open the disc. It
And
keeps
what-
it sealed.
They don't even play the game.
They don't even play games. They
Exactly.
just talk about it and bitch about it online
Exactly.
on their podcast.
Speaking of, check out the Slice of Gaming podcast. I uploaded it Saturday.
But yeah, it's interesting. The launch edition's not for any specific retailer, so that means you can get this poster, I guess, anywhere as long as the store gets their shipment.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. And then digital
And then
editions.
So that's your pre-order bonus right there. Is the, I guess, a certain model.
Melander C3 G13. I bet you Armored Core fans are like, holy shit!
I've been
Are you
waiting
sure
for
about that?
this.
There's no fucking way they did it. I mean, hey, if any Armored Core fans want to shout us out and say like we're dumbasses for not knowing, I understand. Like we're not the experts as much as like we were wanting to. But hey, you know what? We like mechs, right?
Yep, they sure look cool.
They sure look cool.
I
Moving
mean,
on.
ever since Mega XLR, I don't know if y'all watched that on Cartoon
yeah.
Network.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
I did.
Moving on. We got some extra details that came from a lot of the previews. Okami Games, my boy, got just the beautiful bullet points, which I just like. I want everyone to just do bullet points from now on. It's just so clean. New Armored Core 6 preview details. Moon, I want to know how you feel about this. Game will be 50 to 60 hours long. This was something that scared a lot of people.
So that means it's going to take me about 80 to 90.
So, just a thought about that. I think they said that for completion, it's 50 to 60 hours.
Oh, really?
But for main campaign, I think it was like closer to 20 hours.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's
I
actually
think so.
pretty good.
I could be wrong, but I
if you
think
could look that
I
up, man.
read that.
Yeah, let's see.
But I mean, 50 to 60 honestly isn't too bad. If it is completion 50 to 60, then that's actually pretty nice, honestly. That might be a worthwhile platinum for me. Moving on, there's also environments are much larger and more vertical. We saw a lot of that, I guess. Like, we very much noticed just how vertical each environment is. Not too much to harp on there. Enemies get more aggressive as their health drops. I feel like you could say that about a lot of games, but also that's pretty interesting to show that there's somewhat of a comeback mechanic for the enemies. Like, even if their health drops, like, they're still able to kick your ass. Like, the fight's never really over, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, just quick update. So yeah, this apparently it was during an interview on a certain website, and it says approximately 50 to 60 hours to beat FromSoft revealed during this preview. It is still unclear whether the quoted hour is the length of just the main campaign or to 100% it, so it's unclear.
So okay, thank you, FromSoft. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the information, buddy.
The big thing here, PC has native 120 FPS support, first ever FromSoft game. Cyber, you play PC if I'm correct. Do you have any
Well,
thoughts on
as
that?
well. Yeah, I think I might get this one on PC just because of that.
Yeah,
I
I
think it
mean,
might run
it's gonna
better.
run really well. Yeah, I mean, FromSoft
Yeah.
PC ports usually have trouble though. I know Elden Ring wasn't too bad. I heard that one was actually a pretty good launch, but like I know Dark Souls 3, there was actually a period of time where Dark Souls 3 was legitimately unplayable because like online
hmm
hackers pretty much took that game over.
hmm
So, do you think it's gonna be a good PC launch? Hopefully.
Um, I don't know. I mean, judging from Elden Ring, I think Elden Ring's launch was okay at best. At least the game was playable for the most part. But also, like, I think my PC is good enough to run most games without, I'm not playing games from a hard drive kind of a thing.
Oh yeah.
So I think I would be okay in the recommended specs kind of a thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I might give it a shot. If I do buy it, it will be from Steam, and then if it doesn't run well, I'll just return it and get it on the Xbox.
Oh yeah, no. That 2 hour return thing is very useful. I wish Sony had that, but it's like the moment you download the game, they're like, "Fuck you, you can't return it now." It's like I didn't even try the game.
Yeah, even if you don't download it, because I bought a game before on for the PlayStation. I did not even have a PS5 yet, so I didn't download it, and they said, "Oh, you actually downloaded this, but we're gonna give you a one-time
Dude,
refund."
that happened to me too. I accidentally bought Disgaea 1, and this is off topic. This is genuinely like insane to me that we had the exact same experience. I accidentally bought it, and I talked to support. It's like, oh yeah, I accidentally bought it. Can I just like refund the game? And they're like, well, usually we wouldn't refund this, but this is a one-time thing. It's like, what the
Yeah,
fuck are you
they make
talking
you feel
about?
special. They make you feel special.
It's
Yeah,
so dumb.
yeah.
Moving on to the actual video game we're talking about. Ray tracing can be enabled for the garage. I'm interested to know what that means. I assume that means like when you're in the garage, you can have ray
Yeah,
tracing on.
you're picking your parts, yeah, you'll have that nice, beautiful ray traced mech. But as soon as
It's
you
for
get in
the
the game
mech.
out, ray trace
It's
is gone.
it's for the mecha perverts, the ones who are just like, God, look at that thing shine.
Yeah, they're gonna have like this button that removes all menus, right, and puts your Mac right in the middle of the
Oh yeah,
screen, and then you're just looking at like and zooming in, like, oh yeah, let's go.
it's like I'm really there.
I can taste it. Yeah,
Permanent.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just still on the ray tracing thing. I think that's perfectly okay because they might have tried putting ray tracing in the whole game and it just didn't run well.
And
Like
Yeah,
crash the whole
the
as
thing.
long as it
yeah,
runs well, that's the important thing.
yep, see Elden Ring for example. Like once they added the ray tracing update on the PC, like people went mad because the game stopped working properly.
Yeah,
So I'm completely okay with keeping it scoped to
I
the
guess
garage or to what it matters, I guess.
I guess it could also just be modded in. Like that's a possibility, but modders are pretty good at this stuff. Maybe they could get it in.
Yeah.
Though also, I don't know how this stuff works. Full disclosure, so maybe it is impossible to mod. Permanent upgrades can be earned in arena mode. We talked a bit about that when we were talking about the arena, but yeah, me and Moon are just gonna jump in, kill each other for like a couple hours, and then we have all the upgrades. OS upgrades allow you to customize the feel of your mech. My man, if there's any word I hate more in a press release, it's feel, because it's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, you're gonna experience it.
You gotta buy the game, man.
I get
That's how you would know.
we were kind of theorizing how it could mean stuff like HP boost length, stuff like that, stuff that isn't like on the exterior of the mech, more like internal stuff. But I wonder what feel of my mech really means.
Yeah.
And then finally, huge variety of weapons. Armory stations allow you to change loadout mid-mission. That's extremely
That's
exciting.
cool.
I mean, just like maybe you're in that desert, and like for the first bit of the mission, like you're using the treads, going through, kicking ass, and then it's like, oh shit, to fight that giant walking thing, I need to start flying. You just go to an armory and then switch to your like more mobile mech.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we saw that in the menu, but if there's like loadouts, pretty much, like if you make a light, a heavy like version of your mech, you could just like save that loadout, just switch to that real quick.
I'd be very surprised if that
Thing.
wasn't. Yeah.
It's like, no, you have to remember all the parts.
Get a notepad ready.
Pull out this Excel spreadsheet.
And then that's the first one, and then Okami did some more preview stuff. New Armored Core 6 previews includes new gameplay. Level design has an impressive sense of verticality. We already knew that. Multiple
Which means
approaches.
that
Go ahead.
probably the treads isn't going to be a whole lot of use then. Because if
I'm
a
gonna
lot
make
of
it useful.
like, I'm going to go flying with that.
Yeah,
with those
what if
treads.
you can crawl walls with it though? You don't know if you
No
can't.
way,
Zero
God.
gravity.
Well, that's what the spider legs are for too. I bet you can crawl walls with those. Then also multiple approaches to missions. So that's interesting in and of itself.
That's just them saying, like you were mentioning earlier, like here's my super lightweight melee build, here's my tanky like
I guess I
chain
read that
gun build and
differently.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. In my
Yeah,
mind, it was like,
maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
no, I think you're right
but
because
that's
like I was thinking of it like, oh, there's multiple objectives that you can do to succeed the mission. But I think actually you're right, where it's like you can get the slow mech, you can get the fast mech stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
you
Moon's
can
on
probably
the
also
right
do
track.
like what you said at the beginning, like do it stealthily.
Yeah. Moving on, combat is fast-paced and fluid with powerful melee and long-range options. That's kind of the part you're a bit scared of is that fast-paced Moon. I bet it's not too
Yeah.
bad. I bet it's like manageable fast pace. You know, nothing
Yeah,
like
I think I just have to get used to it.
I don't think it's gonna be like Sekiro. I'll say that. Sekiro is like ultra fast paced, like you are fighting for your goddamn life in that game at most of the time. I think this one's gonna be more manageable.
Sekiro's so good though.
It's such a good game. Oh my god.
I'm waiting for it to come to Game Pass.
I was thinking about that game the other day. God, FromSoft never misses.
I'm always thinking about Sekiro. I think Sekiro is my favorite game of all time. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, hey, that's a
Yep.
good favorite game. Like genuinely, that game is incredible.
Is this a bad time to mention? Never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but
Go ahead.
No, it was just funny because I was remembering his comment about Persona 5 menus. I'm like, is this a bad time to mention Persona 5 is my favorite game?
I mean,
Since
I
you were
don't hate
talking shit.
Persona 5. It's a good game. I mean, I like the menus. I didn't like it at first. That's all I meant.
Yeah,
Because I couldn't read them, and then I learned them, and they're like, okay, yeah, these look pretty cool actually.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. We're getting very off track from Armored Core. No, I understand what you mean by that. And then moving on, boosters allow for faster traversal and are an integral part of combat. We saw that a lot in the gameplay, and also very much
yeah, this game's going to
showcasing
be very sky heavy. Like you're just floating around more. You're probably going to be flying more than actually like running around and meleeing and shooting. You're going to be flying and shooting more.
Very much confirming to me that those treads are extremely situational, which makes me sad because I just wanted to play the whole game with the treads. And then impressive lighting system. I mean, we saw that in the trailer. Lighting system. The lighting is very beautiful. And then devs want it to be challenging, but include multiple tools to overcome it. Oh, Moon, there you go. Multiple tools to overcome it. And then
we're seeing that a lot more in games now, where there's like these items or whatever that like change the difficulty. I mean, you saw that in Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
They have that in the Sea of Star demo that I just played. There is like relics that you can turn on and off of, and they make the game easier or more accessible.
Yeah.
So it's nice that that's becoming a thing.
Yeah, and even going back to like Nier Automata again, they had the same thing if I remember correctly. You had some like mod chips in that game.
Yeah.
That gave you superpowers, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and if you don't want to use them, you don't have to use them. You know, if you're someone like me who's a masochist, it's like, no, give me the hardest difficulty possible, and you know, you don't have to use them. I like that. And then finally, big focus on customization. Menu pops up on death, allowing you to instantly tweak your mech. So I guess if you die, it's just like, I need to change something up. I can't run the treads anymore, man. I gotta actually use something useful.
Yeah, I like this. This feels like they have thought about the quality of life of players from the get-go. This type of menu popping up makes me think of a remaster of a game, right? Or a definitive edition of a game where they go and add some quality of life improvements to the game, but from the get-go. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you're saying we won't be getting Armored Core 6 Definitive Edition?
I have never said that. So,
Armored Core 6 Remastered? But yeah, that's
for the PC2.
PC2.
But yeah, I guess that's everything in relation to Armored Core 6, all the details. Obviously, there's a lot more that we could have covered, but you know, we're very much like looking at this like maybe not as in depth as Starfield, but we want to look at it from a like standpoint of like people who are new to the series wanting to get in. You got your two FromSoft fans, you got an outsider with Moon. Like we wanted to offer like a unique perspective, I guess is the best way of saying it. I guess just right around the cast, it's like, are you guys more excited for Armored Core after looking at everything? Cyber, I'll start with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, talking to y'all has just made me realize that yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game, and am once again considering that freaking collector's edition. So we'll see how that goes.
Trying my best
Wait,
not to.
the big boy one or the medium sized one?
I would not go for the big boy one, but I may
You-
settle for the launch edition just because of that poster and those art cards.
Yeah, the
Pretty
poster's
cool.
kind of
Yeah,
nice.
the poster's awesome. Yeah, and I'm right there with you, Cyber. It's just like I was already excited for this game, but like looking at everything, it's that realization. It's like, damn, a From Software game is coming out in less than a month. It just feels weird that like I'm not to the level of excitement as I should be, but like watching everything is like, no, you know what? I am excited. Like I am picking this up at launch. This is definitely a game that I will play as much as I can before Starfield, to say the least. And
Yep.
I think it's definitely going to be something that a lot of people are going to be surprised by. It's like, wait, this game is actually really, really good. Moon, I'm honestly most interested in your viewpoint, like more or less excited.
Yeah, I was thinking about that like halfway through that second gameplay video we were watching. I'm like, God damn it! I actually am looking forward to this now. It's like I might have to throw out my whole game plan. Just be like, just go buy Armored Core. I'm gonna ignore Starfield. I'm just gonna do dual wield Armored Core and Sea of Stars.
Hey, that's a good roundup, honestly.
Yeah, because literally Armored Core is 4 days before Sea of Stars, and that is just okay.
Hey,
Too many
it's only
games, man.
50 hours long, so you have plenty
Only
of time.
50 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
so
many
7
hours
days.
in 4
I can only
days?
play. I can only play like 3 hours a day. Divide that by
Who,
divide that by
who
50.
who needs sleep, man?
Well, you know what? You got to
Who
be a
needs
real
eat and
gamer.
sleep?
A real gamer. Don't even play the game. Just talk about it on the podcast.
Just be like, it's the most amazing game ever. It's my game of the year. I haven't even cracked the seal yet.
But yeah, I guess any last minute thoughts on the game, or are we all good to round this up?
I kind of want to boot up Returnal.
Because of the bullet hell nature
Yeah,
of
just
it.
just kind
Returnal
of
is
take
very,
a
very
gander at that.
that game is very, very good, but it's also extremely difficult.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend it. Cyber, you were gonna say
Yeah.
something?
No, nothing for me. I just want to say that, like, yeah, it's a good game. Well, it looks like a good game, right? We don't know until we get it, but
Of course.
I'm pretty excited. And
72 Metacritic score.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awkward.
It's like
But yeah, I guess that's everything. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Shout outs to Cyber. Hopefully, we can get you on the main podcast one of these days. You've been an amazing guest. We really appreciate you coming down here. And
yeah, thanks.
and I guess just in general, like, please share the podcast. We're brand new. Really could use all the support. We're on all the podcast apps. You can find us. Twitter.com. It's going to help us out a lot. And again, big special shout out to just all the community members we get. Slowly and surely, we are growing, and I really appreciate it. And all of us appreciate it, even Moon.
yes, even I.
But yeah, if that's everything, I guess that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Say bye.
Bye.